Hello Internet, my name is Corey and welcome back with another episode of Roll Reveal, the official episode 1, and the reason why I say that is I'm going in completely blind. I have no idea what's on this roll, and this is kind of a special roll because this is that second half of the road trip we were just on, which I covered in the first video, except this one is us surfing in Oregon. And not only is it us surfing in Oregon, it's also on black and white, which is not normally a film stock that I shoot. I'm mainly a color film guy. I think the last time I shot black and white was 2 years ago in the Grand Canyon. It was a long time ago. I've already got Epson rolled up here, and I think this is going to be a good one because I can already tell by this small little preview, these first three are going to be very moody. It's going to be a lot of black dots rolling around in the ocean, but that's okay. I've got this one already selected here. Let's get it previewed up. Definitely wasn't lying about just a bunch of black dots rolling around in the ocean. I've got that first negative kind of zoomed in here, and it's just the homies running into the ocean. I think that was right whenever we rolled up to this little bay. It took a minute to get there, I'm not gonna lie. We had no idea where we were going. We kind of just parked at the parking lot, found a trailhead, and started walking what we thought was in the direction of the ocean. There's people just walking by on normal hikes looking at us like idiots, holding surfboards and stuff, but hey, that's okay. We eventually found it. It was this beautiful little bay, really opened up once you got to a certain part. The coolest part though was this kind of fog that just lingered in the entire time we were there. Move this marquee tool over just a little bit. Again, black dots rolling around in the ocean. I think there was a person right here standing holding like a red surfboard. Again, this would have been a lot cooler if I shot it in color, but that's okay. I'm gonna zoom out, get that last one in here. I think this is the exact same scene, except with that person moved a little bit more onto the beach, but gray sand and a red surfboard, who would have thought look exactly the same. So he doesn't really stand out as much as I hoped. Obviously when you're looking through the viewfinder, it's obviously in color. Oh, there's a little bit. Yeah, they moved up a little bit. That's still kind of cool though. You get this nice little foreground with all the rocks rolling in there. Super moody. I'm really digging that. I'm gonna kind of move that thing around. Didn't put this film strip in very straight, but that's okay. That's why you have this marquee tool, kind of bump it around. The real big difference I have over here setting wise is just gonna have black and white negative film selected, 16-bit grayscale. In the last video, I was rocking the 1200 DPI. I'm now on that 2400, which is actually what I had on the Mac. So that was my fault. My apologies. I bumped it up to 24. It takes like a few minutes longer or whatever. Unsharp, I'm still rocking at the high. Why not? I still got that beautiful little digital eyes thing selected here. It's a little different with black and white film. You obviously don't have to play around with the RGB settings, but you still have your curves. You still have your tones and stuff. I like to keep it pretty flat. I'm going to be honest. I don't really do a lot of curvature here in the Epson software just because there's not a whole lot to bring back, whereas in color, I treat it more as a raw. You can bring in the highlights and the shadows and so forth. Black and white, I like keeping a little bit flat because then I can actually do a lot more with that in Photoshop in the final post-processing. Close that up. I think that looks kind of sick. All right, let's get a full res scan coming up. Yeah, I'm already gonna admit a mistake here. I forgot, black and white. Do not use digital ice because this is what it's supposed to look like. Digital Eyes just goes absolutely ham and just tries to Photoshop out, I guess, the entire negative. It's got this black line around the surfer. It just doesn't know what to do in the trees here. I don't know what's going on. It's supposed to look like this. I have it zoomed into 100%, but even at 60%, it doesn't look right at all. So yeah, don't do that. No digital ice. Just make sure you don't have any dirty negatives. I am going to be 100% honest with you. I am very glad I caught that now on the first negative instead of later on down the road after I'd already scanned everything, and then I'd have to reshoot the video all over again. But thankfully I caught that. We're going to get into the next one here. I've got this one zooming up. Like I was saying earlier in this video, this little bay area was absolutely gorgeous. The left side, I guess would be the south side, was just sunny the entire time. And then the north side kind of had this slow fog rolling in throughout the entire day, especially when you were sitting out on the actual water and the board. You just could watch the fog roll in. And then you can also watch these seagulls rolling in. I tried to get an artsy shot, but it's just like chaos going on right here. Super dirty, of course. I think that was one of those, oh, this is going to be a cool shot. Then you take it and you're looking like, that's not really that cool of a shot. Again, artsy photo silhouette of a surfer holding a surfboard. This is one of those things where probably would have been cooler shooting in color film, because a lot of the surfboards are a very bright blue or bright red or something like that. And you're wearing a black wetsuit because the water's 45 degrees. So you really stand out. You get a cool little silhouette. All right, that's still pretty cool though. I already scanned one earlier like that. Still kind of sick. Like I was saying, here's that fog rolling in. It's not just a smudge on the negative, I swear. Just get a last preview of this. Ooh, getting real artsy here. Looks like a little bit of like a giant, I was gonna say driftwood, but this is like a drift tree sitting up on shore. I made a little bit of an effort to walk around on this bay whenever I had some downtime, aka warm-up time, because it was so cold. But it's also very refreshing, and I'm glad I did it. It was a very fun experience. Damn, super artsy with, oh man, look at the surfer in the back. It is mirrored, so this side is going to be on that side. That's fun. That's a fun one. I'm going to scale. Let's get a full res of that one. Like I was saying earlier, not a whole lot to do here in the curves. Epson does a pretty decent job of that, surprisingly enough. I'm going to bring back the shadows just a little bit more. Again, I'll make it real moody in Photoshop later on, but I like getting a little bit of that detail back. Pretty simple, honestly. I wish this dude was actually catching a wave or something, but yeah, that's being picky. All right, let's get a full res. I just clicked the preview button. It rolled in, and it's a little moody. And by moody, I mean super underexposed. However, I'm really digging it. I think this is probably more of a proper exposure with the sky, and the foregrounds are so dark anyway. But let's get that zoomed in. That looks really fun. I like the silhouette of the bird. I think it's a bird. Hope it's a bird and not a person, or it could be both. Who knows? Standing right in the middle there, it gives you a nice little perspective of the beach. Epson's just doing its thing. You can probably hear it just grinding away over there. That was a person. I see. It was a bird person running. That's pretty sweet. You get all these birds. I think those are birds. Yeah, those are actual birds and not just dirt. That's dirt. Don't worry about that. That'll get out of here. That's pretty sweet though. I'm actually really digging that. That's a cool one. Just for the sake of continuity, I'm gonna go back to the full. Ooh, that looks pretty sweet too. Super underexposed, but I think I was exposing more for the sky. Again, I'm in this kind of stairway that leads you down to the bay when you first approach it. So it's kind of shaded because it's Oregon. There's no direct sunlight anywhere. What are you talking about? But the whole idea here was to kind of give you some leading lines and all that kind of jazz back towards the ocean. That's fun. That was not too bad either. Got all the driftwood that was sitting there. Again, super dark here. I'll try to lighten that up a little bit. Not a lot of depth of field, which I'm a sucker for. I guess I could have did a little bit better composition on that one, but it is what it is. And then from 0 feet to 10,000 plus feet, a little bit of a turn of events here, but I've got from ocean to mountains. And the next film strip is actually going to be on top of a mountain. So that's going to be fun. Let's see what this one looks like just previewed up real quick, and then I'll go back and scan those other two full res. Super bright, but that was kind of the tough thing shooting HP5, is that it's 400 speed film, and I am stuck at a whopping 1/500th of a second on the Hasselblad. I can't go any faster than that, so I have to then stop down a lot. I love moody, contrasty black and white photos. That's why it's called black and white, not gray and gray. I see that a lot. Ansel Adams would be rolling in his grave. Alright, that's kind of sick too. A lot going on, but you'll get a little bit more separation in the final scan and not the preview thing. I'm going to go back to the beach one here, get a full res of this. And as I have the zoom coming in before I click full res here, are you a fan of the kind of contrasty black and whites, or do you like the more kind of flat black and whites? What are your kind of thoughts on that? I personally love a really contrasty. I love seeing a pure white and also a pure black, and then having a kind of middle ground in the middle, obviously. And so kind of turn that zone system where you have a light area, dark area, bright area. Come on, slide down that a little bit. Not a perfect square on the cut, but that's all right too. Like I was mentioning previously, this is a pretty contrasty photo, so I'm gonna try to keep the highlights here because I want some of those clouds. I know there's not gonna be a whole lot of stuff going on here in that mid-ground, but I still want the reflection of the not bird person running to her friends. I still like this little bit of depth of field with the bushes in front with the driftwood to clone out a little bit of the dust since I don't have the digital eye selected. Again, I'm going to keep this one not as, there we go. It's hard to talk and adjust this at the same time. Not as dark, just because I'll bring that back later in Photoshop. I want a little bit more contrast in that sky though. Man, that's so tough. Major props for people who shoot black and white all the time, because it is very hard to see the world in black and white. Because you kind of have to look at it like that in order to get a lot of the shots that I want. Okay, enough rambling. Let's get a full res. This is the second time I've just pressed the preview and just started laughing before I press record on the camera, because I'm looking at this going, what is going on? And in the middle of this frame here, trying to take a little portrait, accidental double exposure. So I thought the drift tree was artsy. This is the most artsy thing. I think speechless. Okay, let's go back. Let's at least get a full zoom of the one before the super artsy double exposure here. I'm actually kind of bummed because if I think I remember correctly, the photo that is the background of Jerry is another 14er that we were looking at. Regardless, whenever the zoom gets rolled in here, so we were on the ocean in the previous slide, now we're on top of a literal mountain. Okay, maybe not this one. I guess technically we're on a mountain, but we're on a pass here. I kind of like how there's no Ilford branding or anything, just a clean black border all the way around it. Not too bad, just a kind of basic snow-covered mountain shot. Nothing too crazy, I guess. Let's zoom out. Let's get into the real art, people. This is what you all subscribe for. This is why you guys support me and follow me. Artsy crap like this. Purely accidental. I don't know what I did. I do remember trying to take a photo of him, and then nothing happened. And then I tried to advance it, and then I guess I thought I advanced it and take... I don't know. I really have no idea. It's almost impossible to do a... It's almost impossible to do a double exposure shot on the Hasselblad on purpose without taking the back off and stuff. That actually looks kind of sweet. I'm sure Instagram will eat this up, or it will completely fly underneath the radar. That's kind of sick. For it completely being truly accidental, I would never shoot. Again, I'm kind of bummed though. I like the shot behind it. I'm pointing as if you can see where my finger's pointing. That was the shot that I really liked, but hopefully I got it on the color roll here. All right, again, continuity. I'm gonna keep the kind of roll here. Okay, this is sick. This is sick. Like I was saying, we're on the beach surfing earlier in this roll, and then now I'm at 14,000 feet. I guess technically right about 13,000 feet whenever we stop to take these photos. This was me rushing to finish this black and white roll because we were doing a sunrise 14er. And for the people who do not know what a 14er is, it's a very hipster Colorado word describing a mountain that is 14,000 feet tall. There's a bunch of them here. I'm trying to knock out a few of them as we speak. But the whole idea for me is I'm going to be hiking a lot with the Hasselblad, which, spoiler alert, is going to be episode 2. Is going to be the color roll of this stuff here. So like I said, I was trying to blast through this black and white roll as quickly as possible because this was so gorgeous. It's black and white obviously here, but you're even getting a little bit of cloud inversion. This is pretty dope. I wish I would have got more of that in focus, but this was kind of the ridge line that we had to kind of walk our way up. We were doing Mount Princeton in Buena Vista, as the locals would call it. I'm going to go back and do a full scan of Jerry and the double exposure just because it is beyond art. I can't even do this stuff on purpose. This is purely accidental. I think on this one too, instead of just shooting all of these, recording and editing me, having to edit everything in here, I'm gonna just go back and post the final shots of some. That looks so great. It's kind of short border here because I'm sure the film advancements and all that kind of stuff is screwed up. Dude, that's kind of cool though, I'm not gonna lie. It looks pretty sick. I'm not even really gonna adjust too much of the curve slash histogram or anything. It looks all right. Again, it's 2 photos in one, for crying out loud. All right, let's get the full res coming up here. I love it. Well, that pretty much wraps up the first official episode of Roll Reveal. I am very glad you guys are enjoying this. I'm enjoying making these. It's definitely a kind of a timely process, just because a lot of stuff has to fall in its right places and so forth. I have to wait for the film to get developed, I have to scan it and so forth. But it's kind of fun. I'm kind of digging this so far just because it's keeping my creative juices flowing, and plus I've really been enjoying the feedback from you guys, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. Like I said earlier in the video though, I'm pretty stoked to see what I have color film wise. I'm holding 2 rolls of color film here. They're taped up. I have no idea what's on these other than my fingerprints. But I'm excited to scan those. That's going to be episode 2 and 3. Sand Dunes is also going to be an episode, which is going to be episode 3. I've got a lot of stuff coming up. Like always, I appreciate the support. Thank you for following me on Instagram, subscribing to me on here. Leave a comment if this is something you're digging. Even if it's not, let me know what I can do to change it to make it something it is you're going to be digging. Until next time, my name is Corey. Peace.